I thought I'd talk about one of my most recent interests, and that is Elen. So it's either Elen of the Ways or Elen of the Hosts. So I first came across Elen when I was scrolling through the internet, and it became quite confusing to who Elen actually was. Is it Elen of the Hosts or Elen of the Ways? But names often get changed, and I don't know whether it's a good thing or not. Some people seem to go on to do very well with a changed name. When the Romans took over the Greek culture, there was a lot of name changing then, so that Zeus became Jupiter, Aphrodite became Venus, and Hades became Pluto. But in any event, Elen is a very old goddess which dates back to the Paleolithic times, which is the Stone Age times. It's pre-farming days. There is a very small statue of her in the British Museum, just the one, about that big, but it's there all the same. Elen isn't sat on the floor, she's on a chair with her ankles crossed, which suggests that she's in an elevated position. I should imagine that everybody else will be sat on the floor, but she is sat on a seat, showing status. Basically, she's happy, she's laughing, she's an older lady. And then the young Elen of the Ways, or the one that there is now, is a young woman. She has flaming red hair. She has a green dress. She's often seen walking through the snow with a lantern to guide the way. So yeah, there's a different feel to both of the goddesses. But one of the reasons why I quite like Elen of the Hosts is because she is this side of reality. Many of the goddesses are all in the underworld, but she's this side of reality. So part of the pathway of how I came to find Elen of the Ways is because I often go out walking on my own sometimes, because it's sort of like a spur of the moment thing. The sun's shining and all the snow's crisp, and I just like get out, just put my boots on and go. And yeah, when I'm out there walking, I don't particularly like people stopping and talking to me, because previously to my life as an artist, I was a psychiatric nurse. And before the days of lanyards, you could walk onto a psychiatric ward and basically no one knew who was who. You didn't know the difference between staff and patients. Not all psychiatric patients are inaccessible. Some of them are very, very articulate, very charming, and you sit down next to them and you're just having a conversation with another human being, and then all of a sudden the conversation takes a very strange twist and turn. You find that the person that you're talking to is like seriously mentally ill, and you think, how can I extricate myself from this as fast as possible? But that isn't always easy when you're out on your own in the countryside, and I just don't want to have that kind of uncomfortableness. So it does take a little bit of nerve, to go out on your own in the middle of nowhere. So I kind of resonate with Elen, the fact that she also does that kind of thing. So great. Yeah. So I do have a level of respect for her being out in the wilds, and I sometimes think when I'm out there and it's like really cold or really wet, how do they keep their feet dry? How did they do it? It must be pretty tough existence back in the Neolithic times. So obviously, one of the most striking feature about Elen of the Ways and Hosts is the fact that she has antlers, and what does that mean? Most animals, antlers and horns and things like that are mainly, male things for fighting. But in the reindeer, antlers are both for the males and the females. So at first I thought that it was just a bit, that she had the antlers just to show that it was female empowerment, that she was on the same kind of level as her contemporary males. But then I realised when I was attending a Mysterious Earth conference that some of the shaman images, they had antlers because they were shape-shifting people. And I realised that Elen of the Ways was not just sat there cross-legged, she was a female shaman. So that put a whole different perspective on the thing, that it's, like a designated role in society that she played. She was a shaman. And it might be a preconception from my, I don't know if it's a Christian upbringing, but certainly my mum went to church every Sunday and used to, try and make me go and enjoy it. But I tend to think of religious leaders being male, but that's not been the case. Mainly that there is an equal division in shamanism, and from the British Isles going to the east, that it's equal between men and women. So there's no reason at all why there shouldn't be a female shaman, or a shamanka as they're called, but I'll just stick with the word shaman. So there's quite a few responsibilities and duties when you're a shaman, and one of these is to travel to the underworld. So as a shaman, and this goddess, this deity, is on the living side of reality and travels to the underworld to bring back messages from the ancestors and from spirits. And one of the methods that they used to do this kind of thing was that they used to take hallucinogenic drugs and drugs to assist this process. And one of them was called fly agaric. It's a red and white mushroom, and very colourful, and everything about it says don't eat this, but they did. So eating that mushroom assisted in the process of the shamanic journey. And also on the path of these northern territories, the reindeer ate those mushrooms too. And one of the things, I think it might be, I've read that a property is that it induces states of feeling like you are flying. And there are there's a big connection between flying reindeers and the north. And I think it's probably from this. So Elen of the Ways, Elen of the Hosts. Oh, and of course there's the Mabinogi Elen, which is probably where the word Ellen comes from. It's a Welsh term. And the Mabinogi myth is where Ellen is young, very beautiful, and tempts a great Roman general to fall in love with her. But he has to win her over, he has to find her to win her over, and in return for their union, he then guards over all the pathways which are related to Ellen. But I think that that myth gives up the sovereignty of Ellen, because Ellen is Ellen of the Ways and the pathways were already hers. She didn't need to seduce any general or any, it had to be a general though, didn't it? It couldn't have been a Welsh peasant, but yeah, so she didn't have to seduce anybody. She could have just, carried on as she was. She owned the paths, Ellen of the Ways. So yeah, so Ellen of the Ways and Ellen, she's you know, she's like the original Saint Christopher. And if you want to appeal to any deity for a safe passage or a journey, she also presides over ley lines. Then you would appeal to Elen and Elen of the Hosts, and that's basically Elen. So yeah, she goes to the underworld. She gets messages from the ancestors, from spirits. She goes into different dimensions. I don't think there's just like one, I think there's many. So she goes to these places. She's a traveller of dimensions. Very interesting. So yeah, that's Elen. And I've made, just compiled some photographs, a bit of video footage of me going in these places that I'm talking about. I haven't done all of the walk in just one like, you know, one walk. I've done it over several. So if you would like to watch the video and come and walk with me and see if you see like ancient highways, and if you just want to come with me. One of the places that I sometimes walk to is a Neolithic burial site. It was like a place just outside of Darwin where I live, and it's you know, the remains of some standing stones, burial grounds, things like that. And it's absolutely beautiful place, very exposed, but you can like kind of got the hills all around you, and it's kind of bringing in the energies. It's a really lovely place. And when I went up there on the winter solstice on the 21st of December, and hardly anybody goes. I don't know why they don't go, and the view is absolutely spectacular, but they just have to all walk around a little lake nearby. So as the people, a couple was walking down and they're saying to me, "Merry Christmas," and I was saying, "Merry Solstice," and they're like, So yeah, yeah. I hope you enjoy the video and the photographs, and I hope that it resolves the question of who is Elen, and I'm still undecided. So there you go. Okay, bye. I thought that I'd include these photographs for your entertainment. I don't know what I think about orbs. So some people really are into orb photography. I don't know that I am, but My son had a school project of doing some nighttime photography. So we decided to go to, my usual walk and have a look at the place in the night. But on that particular night, it was just really, really creepy. And it just felt like things were very, very close. It was my son, I, and a friend, and we went down this place. And it just felt, despite the fact that there was three of us, it felt that there was things like really, really close, around, and it was quite an unpleasant experience. So we were doing photographs, and so I thought, oh, I'll just take a few. But I took two very close together, within seconds close together. It hardly walked anywhere, taken any steps between one shot and the other shot. In the end, it all got rather too much, and thanks to me in particular, the whole thing was so freaky that we just abandoned it and just turned about and just ran. it wasn't like very dignified or noble. It was just, I just can't stand it any longer. The feeling that there is something very, very close and you can't see what it is. It's that horrible. So yeah, I included the pictures of the orbs just to show just what a different place that places can be in the night time. It's perfectly nice in the day, but at night there's a whole different personality comes out. And so I thought that I would include these shots for you. When we went back home and I looked at the photographs, it was only then that I realised that these orbs had, made an appearance on the photographs. The thing that interests me is that they haven't all moved in a uniform rate. Some orbs have moved quicker than others, and that night it was very, very still, one of those eerie stillnesses. So it wasn't that some orbs were caught on small thermals of wind or anything like that. They've just seemed to have an independent movement. So yeah, that's what interests me, especially that bright one in the middle. So here I am at the top of Cheetham Close. It's pretty okay weather really. I don't really mind it. It's not windy, which I don't really like the wind. It's quite misty. It's a very heavy. It's just like being in a cloud really. It's about 2:15 in the afternoon, so I've got about an hour and a half before the sun starts to go down. Apparently the site up here is between 2,000 and 4,000 years old, and they've found arrowheads here and various bones. So yeah, people have come up here to do various rituals. I don't know.